Welcome to all the people here. I've just been doing a bit of research into music trends and what people think the next kind of trend in music will be for the next coming years. I came across something that's called Deconstructed Club / Post Club. So yeah, I decided to look at this subject more and kind of get into the depths of what the sound is actually like and where it came from. And it was started in early 2010s at a club night in New York. The club night is called Ghetto Gothic, and it was started by DJ Venus X and a person called Shane Oliver, who was the fashion designer behind Hood by Air. Kind of already, knowing that brand, I get a glimpse of what this is going to sound like, but at these parties there was a mix of like voguers, punks, and all fashion kids from New York. So I kind of can already sense what this is actually going to sound like before hearing it. Every review that I've looked at has kind of said this idea of like crunchy drums and just a mix of like house and techno with a lot of like cues and loops, different loops cutting into other loops, MP3 tracks kind of running in and out of each other. I found a few artists on Reddit forum that I'm just going to listen to and check out. So once I've listened to them, I am going to continue this video with my thoughts and the songs and everything that I can feel behind this music and how I feel about it and what it actually is. I'm going to check it out. The first one is called Amaresso and it's by Odette. So yeah, I'm just going to listen to it and then once it's done, give you my opinion on it. That was intense, but insane. Wow. Honestly, if this is, what some people have said is coming in the next couple of years to mainstream music, then yeah. Wow. There was so much to it. So many layers, so many different unusual sounds that just work so well together. And I think the main thing is you can hear the drums, the beat's almost like this driving rhythm that isn't just like your standard like 808 or just like electronic kick. It's like so many different layers of a kick that's just almost exploding in your ear. And a lot of the tracks are very like heavy electro drums, like fully like distorted and just in your face. They're right in your ears, right getting to you, but like it's mixed so well with like just these atmospheric and like ambient synths that just lay perfectly underneath the drums. And then there's just like little bits of like ear candy that just come in here and there, and then just keep your brain just like wanting to just keep going. Like, and I think honestly, when I was listening to that, I just felt like I felt in this club in New York where it was found, and you could just picture yourself going through the motions of like a night in a club, but like obviously not your standard club. And this is what I understand where it says post club. It's almost like the kind of what you would expect in like the underground New York scene, almost like the apocalypse has happened and this is now what club music is. And it's crazy, there's so many perfect bits to this. There's like these like conga drums that go underneath the like heavy kicks, and like the balance between them is just so good. And I'm pretty in a trance right now. I think this is what the music made me feel, this kind of trance. There was this up and downs. One of the songs is like number 6, It Broke. It's like 2 minutes 52. And it's like just this kind of quiet track. And then you have the last like 30 seconds that's just like intense in your ear. And just you're in this zone, and then that comes in, and then you're just ready. And I think this is the club part of this genre. And this album it has the repetitiveness of club music and electronic music, just the way that your heart keeps racing when you're on the dance floor. But like it then has this ambience that then puts you in this trance, and there's so much going on that you're kind of finding it too hard to focus on one thing, but then you're like, you're just getting all these bits in your ear. I think, yes, this music is so good and it's so different to all the music that's out there now, and this is always a step in a good direction. This is one of the albums, so I'm going to listen to some more and I'll get back to you. Okay, so the next one is called Sentient by Lila Treando a Violetta. So I'm going to listen to it. I'll let you know what I think after. I am currently 2 minutes 51 into this album of the first track, Indie Gold, and I'm really getting this like 80s vibe from it. There's a part of this song, I think it's just like 2 minutes in, there's fully like this 80s snare and drum rhythm, and then the whole thing just reminded me of like the sounds of the Hurting album by Tears for Fears, like weirdly, I think it was just the rhythms of like the hi-hat and like this, just the rhythms of like the synths. Very weird, like flashback to one of my favourite albums of all time. But yeah, weird. Anyway, let's carry on. Again, this is exactly like the other one, just the heavy drums. I mean, like I said before, when I first listened to the first, it just reminded me of the instruments and just the way that they were laid out, and the rhythms were so 80s, but then so completely different. We go back to this like driving rhythmic drums that just keeps you wanting to dance, I guess, and you can really understand the group of people that brought this genre together. Music fits perfect. You can just picture everyone dancing to it, all the different types of people that are there. In this record alone, you can hear it's like South American vibes, carnival vibes. You've got like the carnival drums going on again, like the previous record. Carnival drums, but then with these heavy electronic drums. So I think that's really a running theme between these two records, and I want to say in this genre, but I need to look into it more. So before I summarise up everything, I'm going to listen to some more and I'll get back to you on my summary of Deconstructed Club. Okay, so it's actually the next day. I kind of got too into research and listening to all these tracks that I had to listen to. And, from what I've said, after kind of reviewing two of the records, I can feel this similarity running through everything. This heavy, like crunching, overly compressed, just like saturated and distorted drums that run the whole track. They're like the main aspect and element of this genre. It's then mixed with this ambient sound. It reminds me of like the Witch House movement. After doing some more research of this, I found out that Arca is actually part of this scene, and we're also part of the Witch House movement. A very similar kind of sound, and you can hear the inspiration that's been taken from the Witch House movement into this genre. The one thing that really captures you is the drums, the crunchy drums, but then this ambient sound. It's like the perfect club in the future. When you think about the future and what's going to happen, and this is more like a dystopian club music. It made me feel like, I was there at these events, and you can really see and hear what's going on in this New York basement. Like when the drums drop out, you're left in like this trance. Like I said, after reviewing one of the records, I just felt like, whoa, like it put my heart rate and just my mind into the state of being at one of these events, and just you can understand the feeling that everyone has as to why they wanted to create this genre. The crunchy over distorted textures and drums, it was almost like the way that they've shaped the aesthetic of this genre. So a lot of the songs were just led by these like heavy repetitive drum beats that just kept going and going and just kept you wanting to dance. And I guess this is the whole aspect of it. It's like club music, but it's not your typical club music. It's almost like the SoundCloud rap of electronic music. It's so good and so perfect that once it gets latched onto by mainstream music, it already kind of has in like Sophie's album and in Arca's music. It's too good to be underground, but also you understand why that it's underground and it's not at the forefront of music right now. And I think especially in electronic music, I found this on like a up and coming trend of what people think music is going to be like in the next couple of years. You can already see it in the music now, where, Sophie producing for Charlie XCX. It's a different take on it. It's taken the elements from their music into the elements of Charlie XCX's music. Just the way that it's all put together, I think in Deconstructed Club, there isn't really any rules, but there is this kind of one rule of like heavy drums and the ambient sounds with the heavy drums, no matter what sound you want to make. It's always going to have these crunchy, heavy drums as well as this ambient sound which can really balance the track. Two completely different genres. You have almost this like trance synths and then these like house and techno heavy drums. And I really like that. And I really like the way that it's all put together, and it gets my heart really racing. So I'm pretty happy that I found out about this genre. And I also really hope that this isn't just like a trend in music, something that's just going to come and die. Like, how like chill wave and vaporwave came and then just sunk down. I really believe in this type of music, and I really hope that it does transcend into like popular culture, but in a way that it's done correctly, and a way that this whole aesthetic and genre and group of people can just really focus on it and make it something. And I really do think that it will be up and coming and really come into mainstream media, but in a way that is taking influence from it, and maybe it will never be the bigger thing that it could be, or maybe doesn't want to be. I don't know about this. I just want to listen to the music itself. It really excites me, and it gets my heart racing. Last night after listening to it, and I was almost like, okay, maybe I can stay up for a couple more hours. And I think that's the whole aesthetic. It's like club music, but it's for people who don't want to go to these clubs. Everyone knows what these clubs are like. Your classic small town club, or your Fabric, or all of these clubs that just are full of like not the right people. So yeah, for me, I really enjoyed this, and I really like style of music and this genre of music, so I'm definitely going to be listening to it more, and definitely will do some more research on it, and hopefully this does come into modern music. I think the market's so saturated now with just these Dua Lipas and everything like that it needs stuff like this to really come through and push the boundaries of modern music. So yeah, if there's anything to go through in the future, then I'm happy for this to become the music of 2021 or 2022. I hope you enjoyed this. Just a little bit into this post-club and deconstructed club music. There will be more about different genres of music and some more stuff that I find, because I think talking about music is the best thing for me, really. It's the thing that I'm most into. So yeah, if you really like speaking about music and just having conversations about music, then leave a comment below, subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned for more. Peace.